Now, putting a bunch of crazy guys together in one spot may have worked well in some places, but I don't know how well it worked out freshman year.
If you thought crazy stuff only happened to me when my family was around, you'd be sorely mistaken. I've always been a magnet for crazy, especially during the school years.
Remember how I said my door was always open as a freshman? That led to some pretty interesting experiences with, people just walking in and having conversations with me and doing stuff while I'm doing stuff. So this one night, one of my future suite mates, because freshman year I only had one roommate and I was blindy. One of my future suite mates who would like to remain anonymous for this, but I mean, I only have so many suite mates. I'm sure you guys will eventually figure it out. One of my future suite mates came into my room after being out at a party and getting drunk that day, and I was just playing, waggling my Wiimote. Just playing some Ultimate Alliance on my Wii in my room, and the door's open, and one of my future suite mates comes back. And my door's open, so he just walks in. And I'm like, hey man, what's up? Because, when people are drunk, they're not usually quiet. They don't sneak around. It's really hard to sneak when you're drunk. Hey man, what's up? And I see he's gone. Like, he's gone. Sort of stumbles into my room. And he's like, man, I love you. And when you're drunk people are the best for telling you that they love you, man. That's what drunkenness is all about. It's about that love. That love. So he shared with me that he loved me. And I was sitting in my chair, he kind of like draped over me, and he just started to rub my nipple. And I kept going. Whatever. I've had stranger experiences. It's fine. He's drunk. Whatever. I had my shirt on. It's not like I was topless. I wasn't sitting there with the door open naked. Like, that's a bit too far for me. That's just a bit too far. He's just sitting there, his arm over my shoulder while I'm waggling my Wiimotes or whatever he's rubbing my nipple, and he starts to whisper in my ear, "Are you uncomfortable?" And let me tell you, I don't know if it's been apparent so far, but it takes quite a bit to rile me up. So he sat there for at least a half hour. I remember beating the entire level with him draped over me, rubbing my nipple, asking me if I was uncomfortable yet. And I still wasn't uncomfortable yet. Now, one thing I've already told you is that my alma mater, like the town it's from, very well known for being like a haven for the LGBTQ. That's too many letters. You guys gotta shorten it so I can figure out what it is. Because I'm stupid and, it's too many things. It's too many things all in one. Whatever. Very a safe haven for that community. But it's also a safe haven for hippies. Like where my dorm was and where the other newer dorm was, because there's actually another new dorm there. Now there's 3. Before there was just 2 when I was there. Where those were called the tripping fields back in the day. Like some of my friends' parents are like, hell yeah, I hung out at the tripping fields. And you're like, what? And they're like, where your dorm was, duh. And you'll be like, oh, okay. There are a lot of alien sightings out there too. But I think, being the tripping fields probably wasn't actually alien. So yeah, it's a pretty big drug hippie haven. So if you might have guessed, I've met quite a few people who, partook of the marijuana, among many other things. But my roommate at the time, Blindy, he really liked to get high in my room with his friends because I had a fan. I brought a fan from home. It would be in the window, and it would just blow all that shit out there. But unfortunately, this also meant that he was doing it on my side of the room on my bed. So my bed, if someone wasn't sleeping in it and I wasn't there, someone was probably getting high in it while I wasn't there. I would come home, I'd come back like real late, and I'd just like walk into the room, go to sleep. I didn't like come back and hang out in my room. I would just come back to the room, go to sleep. And when you're really high, you get the munchies. Well, since they were on my side of the room on my bed, that also meant that they had the munchies, so they were eating while they were getting high. And this led to some interesting mornings for me, especially one morning in which I woke up, got out of bed, and just Lucky Charms fell out of my clothes. And I was like, what the hell? This is not the first time that sugary treats have fallen out of my clothes. One time I was sitting at my computer in my old house as a teen, and I was talking to a friend on AIM, and I went like this, and a cookie fell out of my sleeve. Now I do not remember eating cookies that day, but I was like, holy fuck, a cookie just came out of my sleeve. I'm fucking magical, man. But this time with the Lucky Charms, it was not, I did not, there was no reason for that. I did not eat I did not partake of the Lucky Charms, yet my clothes were full of them, and they just fell out of my pants when I stood up, and I was like, what the hell? Another sad story. Sad story about my Wii. Like, I have a Wii U now. I've streamed a couple times, so if you guys are fans of my Twitch channel, you follow me there, you've probably seen me stream Hyrule Warriors. I only have like 5 games for the Wii U, so really my choices are limited in what I'm going to stream, but I have streamed Hyrule Warriors a couple times. But I got a Wii freshman year. We pretty much, when I was a freshman, Smash Bros. Brawl had just came out. So we had all been preparing, and when it finally came out, everyone was just playing Smash Bros. Brawl. I mean, they'd been playing Melee. I have the freeloader for the GameCube, but I have the old version of the freeloader, so you can't save games from multiple regions on one memory card. And what would happen is they would play a Japanese game, or I would play a Japanese game, and then I'd leave and they'd play an American game, but they wouldn't switch the memory card. And with the old version of freeloader, if you don't switch the memory card, like if you don't switch regions before you play, the next game you save, if it's on the other region, will delete. So they ended up deleting my Smash Bros. Melee data like 8 times, and just but then I got the Wii. We moved on to that. We didn't have to worry about the GameCube anymore. I mean, I still brought it, but we didn't have to worry about it as much. They didn't delete data for it, or the data for my other games that, you know, took forever, like Geeky Ninja Tyson 4. There's so many missions in that game. There's so many missions, and we deleted the data like 5 times.
I just want to show you guys my poor Wii, the damage it has sustained while I was at college. Now, a lot of people have had this problem with their Wiis, but I mean, as you can see, there's like gross sticky marks on it. You might be like, well, haven't you washed it since then? It's kind of hard to get out that goopiness. We lost the top cover at some point. Both the hinges snapped. Let me turn it around. It's still kind of goopy, even though I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, but there's quite a bit of, there's like layers of goop around here that is not clean. Also, the fan is really where the brunt of the goop got stuck. So I'm trying to zoom in so you can see, like, there's just goopy stickiness all up in the fan, and that's why it sounds like a dying animal. Every once in a while, you'll be playing and it'll be like, oh! It also sometimes forgets how to read discs because of this. But I mean, whatever. It's done its job so far.
So my Wii, one time, you know how when something bad happens and somebody calls you and you assume that they're dealing with the problem? So this one time, I left my Wii, my roommate, I think I wasn't at class because I got a call and I picked it up. But I was out, and my roommate calls me and he's like, hey, I spilled Coke on your Wii. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Just clean it up, whatever. I'll deal with it when I get home. And I came back to the room. Now, when he said he spilled Coke on the Wii, because the Wii was on the floor at the time, I assumed that meant he, like, knocked over a can and it was like, and it splashed. No. He, like, emptied a can of Coke on it. Like, it was covered and it was so sticky and gross and nasty. And he didn't clean it at all. He just called me to tell me that he spilled Coke on the Wii. No. When you called me to tell me that you spilled Coke on the Wii, I assumed that meant you were cleaning that shit up. But no, he was not cleaning that shit up. I have an issue with my Wii now where I tried to like scrub it off, but a lot of it caked in. And it got in the fan in the back. So if you leave my Wii on for too long, it sounds like a dying animal. Because there's still like goopy Coke in the back of the fan. Just... And you just feel bad for it. You just feel so bad for it when it starts making that noise.
Hey there guys and gals, I hope you're enjoying Season 2 of On Fairy Tales, The School Years. As always, you can click the link on the left to see the previous episode, or you can click the link on the right to see the playlist where you can see all the episodes so far. I got into way more fights in high school than I did in college. Didn't everyone?